right, welcome back, and thanks for being here. You can be here with us too on Thursday nights here at Bernie's Bungalow upstairs and have an adult beverage and pretty much mock us and ask us really terrible questions that we have to answer. It's a lot of fun, really. So glad you're here. Tom Brennan, Bob Poe, Steve Heimel are here, and so we have questions from the audience. And basically, it used to be that I used you as lifelines in case I needed to answer. You know, it's just a girl from Homer. What would she think about astrophysics, whatever? Now it's just people don't even care what I think. They just want to know what you think. So they write them to you, which I think is just fine because it, you know, is the Panel Up North show. Whatever. Okay, so this one is for you, Tom. How long does the ADN have left as a printed newspaper, and will you give them half a page on the Anchorage Daily Planet website?
If they pay.
That's a great question.
That's really good. I hope the Daily News has a long life. You know, I know they're still laying people off. They laid off 5 or 6 in the last week or so. But I wish all my friends who quit taking the Daily News a few years ago, and a lot of them did, would take another look at it, because right now, even though they have a very small reporting staff, they have a nice balance of columnists. And I know Matt Zensi has had to hold his nose, I was told that, but you know, to put all these conservative columnists in there. But he's got some of the best, some of the very best.
I understand he's left now.
Well, not yet, but well, I guess maybe it's this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's one of the guys that's leaving.
Well, we've got a couple more questions. Bob, you say the ruling only applies to corporations. How hard is it to incorporate?
It's a pain.
Oh yeah, it's like
really
$200 on a website.
No, you've got to form a board and all sorts of things. But I'm not saying that you know, it's
if it
such
could
a
give
barrier,
you unfettered access to your First Amendment right as a corporation to talk.
I think people will. I think people will incorporate, but it's going to be these issue corporations like you talked about, the group from Wasilla. Those are the folks you're going to see incorporating. My point is, what we started with was, are businesses going to be out there, you know, exercising their First Amendment rights? And my point is that most businesses in Alaska are not corporations, they're LLCs, because then they avoid the state income tax. So what you're going to see is a lot of nonprofit corporations, things like that, start exercising their right to free speech.
Would you agree with that?
Afraid so.
What is mandation? Mandation is an affliction that happens to you when your bumpet slips. I'm just guessing. Sarah Palin last night on television said mandation, and it's like not in the dictionary, but you know, whatever. If corporations are eligible for personhood, how long before fetus are expected to pay corporate taxes? Oh my God, it's a deficit solution. Hey, you're taking up some sort of umbilical resources. We need to tax the umbilical cord, and then they'll be able to have personhood.
Are they not taxing those little buggers?
Well, when was the last time you were deducting one of those off your taxes?
It's been a while for me.
Would you support Ricky Ott's amendment to ban corporate personhood? She has an amendment basically that's for the separation of corporation and state, much like the separation of religion and state.
I sent an op-ed to Mudflats just before the show, and I'm really starting to get there. I really, and as an MBA, I mean, I can't believe myself.
It's a recovering Republican.
I don't think that's true, but
no, I mean, I think this is so hard for me because this is not a partisan issue. This is not for Democrats, Republicans. This is like either you believe in the Constitution or you don't. And I don't remember corporations marching in the streets demanding the right to vote.
Right. In fact, they,
or to be considered persons. That we did this with women. We did this with African Americans. You know, Dred Scott, blacks became 3/5 of a man, and in this decision, we basically became 3/5 of a corporation.
When the lawyers finally figured out what the solution to the problem is, that could well be one of them, or it could be something entirely different. But it's obvious we're going to have to try to find a way to level the playing field. And I think they'll probably wind up with a number of options.
Is Senator Begich as bad a mayor as Dan Sullivan says he is?
I was AEDC director under Mark Begich. I thought he was a great mayor. I thought he did a really good job.
Well, you know, I disagreed with a few things, certainly that that Mayor Begich did, but I really have a hard time thinking that he caused the earthquake in Haiti. I don't know if you heard of that.
No, but he did. But he did build the Denali Convention Center, and he built, you know, a lot of the modernization of East Street Corridor, and a lot of really things that made Anchorage a much better place to live.
I know. I can't believe that Sullivan hasn't torn up East Street yet.
Well, the
God
thing
knows.
that bothers me about Sullivan is that so far he's been very Republican, and I don't think that's really the way the municipal government is. That's not supposed to be the dominant political force like it sometimes is happening now, that it's always Democrats and Republicans. It's nonpartisan. You run nonpartisan, and you know, so that's an aspect of Sullivan that really bothers me.
And we certainly have sides, but usually not to the extreme. I mean, Sullivan couldn't decide if he would go see Obama or not, but he didn't have any problem bending his schedule totally to go meet with Bush this week.
So. Even though we may have, you know, we normally nonpartisan government, you know, you still have sort of the liberal conservative philosophies, and you know, if in fact you know, Sullivan were pushing the Republican Party agenda, you know, more than he should, that would be a problem. But if he's just making, you know, the decisions from that sort of conservative point of view, there'd be nothing wrong with that. Everybody always has.
Right.
You know,
well, here I have one more question I want to get to, and we just have a couple minutes. Part of the reason that this decision is devastating, I think, for Alaskans is we know what happens when corporations come in and affect votes. And I know that you're friends with Bill Allen. Do you still correspond with him at all?
No, I'm not a friend of Bill's. I never knew him that well, but I mean, you know, I worked for the company that he was chairman of, but Bill hardly ever came around. I was amazed.
Well, he was in room 604.
Yeah, he was. But
you could have found him there.
I saw that. I saw that on television. But you know,
was that part of your spam filter?
One thing is really worth mentioning, because it surprised me, is that Bill Allen never tried to interfere with the Voice of the Times or tell us what to write. Never. And I always wondered about that. And Paul Jenkins' theory, and he might be right, is that Bill Allen was afraid of Bill Tobin. He was afraid that Bill Tobin would leave, and without Bill Tobin, the Times wouldn't be the Times. So he just left us alone. He'd come by a couple times a year, and our office was right next to his. He'd come in a couple times a year just to shoot the bull. That was all.
Shoot the bull. Apparently, that's what they do this week.
Well, that's what he was. No, I'm not talking 604. They were shooting more than
I
that.
know. Well, we're at the end. Thank you guys so much for coming in, and I know that we're going to have some more talk about this, because I want to hear even more, and I'll tell you about it on the radio. I'm Shannyn Moore. Thanks so much for joining us.